afternoon. I just want to follow up what Professor Littman presented about those that knows the history will be the one to survive. Those that forgot history will be the one to suffer. If you plot out the economy of the Philippines 20 years back, you'll see a pattern that every 4 to 5 years there is up and down, up and down. That is a rule of life, and we cannot change that because it will be very monotonous if our economy is always up. And there will be no job for a bank, for a banker, if there is no up and down in the economy. This year is the 4th year of up. I'm not scaring you, but it's good to be prepared. I have a prepared speech here, but after I saw the audience here, I didn't see any corporate entity. I saw person like me, individual, entrepreneur, professionals, and I want to speak with you on a heart-to-heart basis so that when you leave this room, you will remember what Mr. Shaw is telling you about. Just last week, Corporate Governance Association of the Philippines had a forum in Shangri-La. They invited Cardinal Tagle as the main speaker. Cardinal Tagle pointed us very serious matter that will affect you and me. He said that for the last decade, the world, all over the world, has been concentrating on technological advancement, about explosion of technology, virtual reality, that the quality of life of the majority in the world, that the respect of human dignity, that the trust among people is forgotten and put aside. And look at this what's happening in the world right now. East Europe, you have the US, EU against Russia. Middle East, you have the Muslim Christianity. South America, they got their own problem. And here in Asia, we got our own problem. Right now, we have China against Japan, China against the Asian countries. And all of this is the cause of the lack of trust among us. Here at home, whom do we trust? Do we trust the leader that we have chosen? And if there is no trust, whatever corporate governance that we have, be it a country, be it a corporation, then we should ask, what kind of quality of life, what kind of principle does the leader of that country, does the leader of that corporation is practicing before he said that this corporation, this country has a good corporate governance. A few weeks ago, Mr. Washington Sisip called me at 12 o'clock noontime and tell me, Joe, you come to my office at 2 o'clock. I'm an ex-SGBN partner. I ask no question when Sisip calls. I go to him 2 o'clock. Ayun pala, meron siyang interview. He's being interviewed by a Hong Kong business magazine, and I was at the back as his, resource person. At the end of the interview, the interviewer asked him, Mr. Sisip, if you have to name two things, so that you can predict where that country is going in the next 5 years. If you have to name two things in a corporation that you can predict that corporation, where is that corporation going in the next 5 years, what would it be? Sisip said, one, look at its people. Tingnan mo yung tao nila. Anong klaseng tao? What kind of people do they have? Look at what kind of leader do they have? Because that will tell you where that country and that corporation will be 5 years from now. Second, quality of life. If you want to have a sustainable development, if you have to have a sustainable progress, improvements of the corporation, then you have to have a quality of life in that country, in that corporation. Because without a quality of life, that progress is not sustainable. There will be chaos, which is what we are experiencing now. All over the world, you got chaos. My boss, Mr. Henry C. Sr., when he interviewed me before I joined, he asked me just two things. Mr. Shaw, if you want to join me, I ask you two things. One, make me trust you. The word that he uses, make me trust you. He did not say, I trust you. Meaning, trust is not earned immediately. Trust is not inborn. Trust is something that you have to work to earn that trust. I don't care what university you graduate. I don't care what time you report to the office or leave the office. Give me a trust. Second, work hard. Work hard. There is no substitute for working hard. Assuming that you are a Harvard graduate, which I am not, but assuming I am a Harvard graduate and you are a Harvard graduate, pantay tayo. Assuming further that you have $1 million and I have $1 million, we are the same. But if I work 7 days a week, you work only 5 days a week, over time, I will overtake you. Simple. It's proven. Look at China. Look at Taiwan. Look at South Korea. You compare that to the Philippines. 20 years ago, we are sending people to teach them how to plan, how to do accounting, how to do engineering. Today, what happened? They are the ones sending people here teaching us. It's proven because these people work more than we do. Why am I telling you this about? Because I think trust in all this sequence that I have discussed, these three guru of the Philippine business community, Cardinals, Tagle, Washington, Sisip, Henry C. Sr., they speak of the same language, trust. Trust. And therefore, if we are investing on something, you got all kind of figure, you got all kind of ratio. But at the end of the day, you should ask, you and I should ask, who is the man behind the company that I am giving my money to invest? Who are the people that is or in that company that I am going to invest? Is this something that is worthwhile to invest, that this company will grow 5 years from now? These are the questions that you cannot see in the balance sheet. I agree with Mr. Littman. In the last 10 years, or even 20 years, the emphasis has been on the income, PE ratio. How much is the dividend, right? But in today's world, and especially, as I said, we are on the 4th year of up. I remember 5 years, we up, down, up, down. In investing, aside from the balance sheet, aside from the income statement, look at the people behind it, the management behind it, but look at how healthy is the balance sheet. Professor Littman has mentioned that. Look at what company is liquid, what company has too much borrowing, what company has too much foreign exchange exposure. Philippine peso is strong not because we are strong. Philippine peso is strong because of the problem in Europe, because of the problem in the US. But once that things reverse, which is now starting to reverse, then there will become that Philippine peso will again be where it was, 5 years ago. So, in all this analysis, after all the figures that is bombarded to you by all the analysts, look at the balance sheet and see a company that is healthy, that is liquid, and that has a low gearing ratio. Because these are the company that will grow in spite of what will happen in the economy. Okay, I have talked enough. So I'll stop here. Thank you for listening. Yeah.